Hello, everyone. Kristen Brown here. If you can believe this or not, am going live from my house because typically I go live from my car. But the good news is that no one's home and I am able to have some alone time. That's why I record from my car much of the time because I really like the solitude of my car. I like that I can really think and get into what I'm talking about. And that's why I mostly record from my car. But today I'm going to be recording from my home studio. So I hope you guys are well, everybody that gets this live stream. And I see that people are already joining the room. And I would super love if you would let me know who you are in the chat. And just for anybody who's interested, you can always, if you're listening to this live, you can message me in the chat or you can comment afterwards and I will reply to your comments because I love your comments. Your comments inspire me. Your comments give me ideas for future episodes of a video or a live stream or something like that. So you're always welcome here on my channel. That is what I do. This is what I like to do. I like to connect with people and I like to help people heal from the inside out so that they can create a better experience in their life. Now, this topic today comes from a question that one of my subscribers emailed to me, and you guys are welcome to do that. If you don't want to ask a question in the chat, you can also go to my website and hit the contact me form, and that will send me a direct email. Or you can just email me at hello@kristenbrown.org. Actually, how about if I just put that here? I've never done this before. kristenbrown.org. Okay, you can email me there. All right. Normally I'm on my phone, so I don't have these little special options. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I am in my normal gym splendor with my hair sticking up. You know, there's just not enough time in my days. I think I'm going to start getting up at 5 a.m. because to shower and look, YouTube worthy. I just don't have time for that. So you guys get me in my gym splendor. So thank you for being here. I see more people are joining, and I just really want to get started because I know when this question is posed by somebody, when somebody says, how do you overcome loneliness? This tells me that a person is in a really tough state because I've been in that state myself. I know that feeling. I know it well. And I'm here hopefully today to shine some light on what might be going on inside you, anybody who's listening. And as all things that I talk about, it's going to require a shift in perception because we can be our own best friends, our own best advocates, or we can be our own worst enemies. And we can do that by staying stuck and rooted in a thought and just ruminating on that thought, or we can open our hearts and minds to something different. And it's in that something different that the magic happens in our lives. I am living testimony of this because when I tell you that I went through a tsunami, what I mean by that, if anybody that's new here, is that everything that had made me feel safe and secure in the world was just washed away by the selfish and narcissistic type acts of my second husband. And I went through what I call a dark night of the soul. And it was a very, very difficult time for me. I talk about it in my first book. I talk about it in my second book, different stories, different ways. But I also talk about it on so many of my live streams and so many of my videos. So if you want to know more about that, you'll come across that story. I don't get into the deets in every single thing that I record because it's just a lot of repetition for a lot of people. So also in my upcoming book, The Recovering People Pleaser. Oh my gosh, I meant to have my book with me. I've got the hard copy now. And I know I'm not going to run downstairs and get it and leave this blank for a while, but I have the hard copy that I was going to show you guys. It's so pretty. It's so great. It has so much amazing energy, and I can't wait for you guys to get it. But I do talk about this story at length. So you can also get it in my book that's coming up on April 11th. It will be released on Amazon. And I'm really excited. You'll be able to get the Kindle version or you'll be able to get the softback version of that book. So let's get started. Let's talk about what feeling lonely is. Most of us already know. We don't really need a definition, Kristen Brown. We don't need to know what feeling lonely is. It sucks. It hurts. It's painful. I want to tell you what it really is. Feeling lonely really is about feelings that you don't matter. Feeling that you're unloved, and feeling that nobody cares. That's what really feeling lonely is about. And it's oftentimes about, I got to do this life by myself. Everything I got to do alone. Nobody has my back. Nobody's with me. And this is where I want you to really understand where loneliness stems from. Because loneliness stems from a neediness to get our love, approval, and acceptance from the outside world. Now, that's a bomb dropping moment right now. That's a mic tipping over. This is my mic, you guys. This is a mic tipping over moment, but I'm not going to do that to my little sweet Yeti, my little blue Yeti right here. But that's really what it stems from, because we believe that we have to get our love, approval, and acceptance from the outside world. We also believe we have to get our respect and protection and our positive self-talk and the lift me up from the outside world. And when any time that we're thinking that way, that we have to get out there, we're going to feel lonely. And I want to tell you guys a story because I remember a specific time in my life where I was feeling this way. And this was after my children and I had moved in with my parents because I had lost the home, and it's, again, the long story involved. And I had given up my hairstyling career of, at the time it was 19 years. And so I found out all my clients to other people, and I basically was homeless. I was going to be homeless, and I had no means of income. And gratefully, by the grace of God and my loving, loving mother and stepfather, they invited me and the children to come live with them, which we did. But let me tell you something. I kicked and screamed about that internally because I was 42. How old was I at the time? I was 42 when the tsunami started. I think it was around 42, 43 when we actually moved in with them. And man, I did not like this. I have been an independent person my whole life. I've worked since I was 15 years old. I'd never missed a bill. I mean, this was not something that should happen to me, right? I'm a person that's a go-getter and worked hard and not afraid of hard work and all those things. And here I was in this position. But not only that, I was struggling with a lot of feelings of resentment and anger and bitterness. And I had gotten into a place where I was just really, really mad at males. Okay. That didn't last very long, but I was really mad at male people, AKA romantic partners. But I remember one time I was driving, it was an evening, and I was driving to the store and I was going to go grocery shopping. And I remember being in that store, or driving to that store. It wasn't very far from my mom's house, and just being so mad and just being like, talking out loud. I was like, why am I always alone? I'm always alone. My first husband and I worked opposite schedules. Then I was single. And then my second husband was gone 5 to 6 weeks at a time. He was an overseas pilot. He was on these, what they call tours. And I was like, why am I always alone? And I was so angry. And in that moment, a voice came, because I'm crying out to God. I'm crying out to the universe. A voice came into my head and it said, enjoy it. Take advantage of it. And I remember that was the perception shift. And that started a different stream of thoughts for me. And what those thoughts were, wow, been raising kids for a long time. I've always had people around me. And I remember just going, gosh, if I could have 5 minutes alone, just 5 minutes alone, that's all I need, right? If you guys are parents, you understand, especially if you're a single parent, you understand. And I was like, if I could just have 5 minutes alone, I would be good. And I thought, wow, I am fighting what is. I am fighting what is. Just like I was fighting what is when I didn't have any time alone. Okay. It was like, if I could just have 5 minutes alone. Now I had time alone, and I was fighting that I was being alone. This started, this was all during what I call my College of Kristen, which is a 2-year period of time where I consciously vowed to remain single and celibate until I figured out why I kept attracting partners that did not reciprocally love and respect me the way I did them. I didn't know how long that time was going to take. And truth be known, the majority of the work that I did was probably complete in a year. But I was continuing to do the work into the second year, and I started to become unattached to whether or not I had a partner. In fact, I really started to enjoy my singleness. Now, when I say enjoy, it doesn't mean I preferred it over having a partner. There was no preference happening. Like I was like, okay, now I want to be single and that's all I want to be. And, this is great. It wasn't like that. It was just, I was loving what is. I was enjoying the present moment because I knew, again, another perception shift. I knew that things always change. Things are always evolving. And one of the most important things that I worked for me, and maybe this will work for you as well, is that this is a spiritual journey. When I started to understand that this is a spiritual journey, the whole reason we're here is a spiritual journey. It is for us to learn and to grow. Okay. Once I learned that things don't always stay the same, that we are in a constant state of evolution, life is constantly changing. What's that quote? The only thing that is constant is change. I mean, you have to laugh at this stuff, right? The only thing is constant is change. And I thought, this is just a season for me right now. But I also knew that I was fighting a lot of what I was experiencing. I was really in my head about this. And this is something that I want you guys to understand, is that our thoughts create our emotions. Our thoughts create our emotions. So if we are fighting reality and we are fighting the state, and I have a whole bunch more to unpack here, but if we are fighting reality and we are fighting the current state that we are in, whatever that might be, we are going to suffer, period. We are going to suffer because we are not allowing this season to be in that we are in to serve us, because it is going to serve you if you open your heart and your mind. Okay, so I want to move on about loneliness. I made a crap ton of notes because I had a lot to talk to you guys about. First thing I'm going to say is that aloneness is actually, sorry, my phone is going off here. Let me just, it's on vibrate, but I need to put it on do not disturb. And this is real time, so you guys are getting Kristen Brown real time, okay? Get a lot of vibrations on my phone. I don't want that. So aloneness, what is it? It's just a physical state. We're just alone. I'm alone right now. I'm alone in my house besides my two cats. My dog is outside, okay? But it's just a physical state. I'm alone. I can either choose to have this alone time serve me, which I am doing right now, which means I am alone and I'm recording on my home computer rather than in my car so that I could really focus and be in the moment, or I can fight that I'm alone. I can fight it. And in that fighting of this aloneness, I'm going to suffer. So when you understand that aloneness is just a physical state, that's all it is. It just means you're by yourself. That's all it means. But loneliness is the emotions that come regarding what we're thinking about our alone state. Are we fighting it or are we embracing it? Now, I'm not going to go further into that because I have a whole list of things about what we can do to turn that around inside of you, but I really want to break this down. So you guys might have heard the phrase that you feel lonely in a crowded room. So what that loneliness means in a crowded room means that you feel not seen, not understood, and not wanted, and not heard. That's what that means. It means you feel like a nothing. You feel invisible. And here's where a great perception shift is going to take place. You are allowing yourself to be not seen, not heard, not understood, and not, what's the other one I said? No, that's it. Seen, not heard, understood. Okay. And anytime that we are feeling that way, that means that we are needing something outside of ourselves, like I mentioned in the beginning of this, that we need somebody to fill these gaps inside of us so that we can feel like we're okay. When the truth is, the only thing that can ever fill those gaps inside of ourselves is ourself. So if you are feeling not seen, not heard, and understood, I ask you, are you seeing yourself? Are you hearing yourself? Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to yourself? Are you giving yourself your love, approval, acceptance, compassion? Are you validating your own feelings? Are you validating your own needs? Are you supplying your own needs? Because I will tell you this, as having experienced this first and foremost, not first and foremost, just up close and personal, I will tell you this, that when you start to give those things to yourself, that feeling of loneliness is going to dissipate. Okay? So here's what I also know to be true, that sometimes in life, we are going to have periods of aloneness because we are being afforded the space and time to work on ourselves, to do the things we need to do for self. But many times, because we're unconscious to this, we're like, I'm alone. I got to go get. I got to go get. I got to go out there. I got to get. Because we think we need to get that love, approval, and acceptance from the outside. So when I realized that I'm alone again, right? That's the words that I was like, again, I'm alone again. When I realized that this was actually an opportunity for me to really spend some time with Kristen, I embraced it. I embraced it. Good morning, Andrea. My big fat microphone is in the way, but I saw something pop up. Good morning, sister. Thank you for being here. I embraced that time. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly when I decided to remain single and celibate because that time was so chaotic and so confusing for me that I don't really remember the timeline that things happened. But I'm assuming it was very shortly after that drive to the store when I decided that I was going to embrace this aloneness. And I deemed that time the College of Kristen because it was a time of concentrated growth, study, learning, journaling, and being with me. It was meditation of the yin, which I now understood that meditation also provided me the peace in my being that I needed to really truly adopt what it is that I was learning. This is why I always encourage my coaching clients or anybody that goes to a program with me to have a daily meditation practice, even if it's only 5 minutes, because I know people's lives are all over the map. You know, we got so many things going on. And I mean, the balls that I juggle, sometimes I just have to sit down and be like, okay, which ball do I juggle first? Because there's a lot of balls in my life, right? But when I understood that I was alone for a reason, that I was going to embrace this aloneness and I was going to have it serve me in the highest way possible, instead of fighting it and thinking that I had to go fill the perceived gap of a partner in my life. When I say I vowed to remain single and celibate, I used to just say I vowed to remain single. But I decided about, a couple years into this journey to really let people know that I was celibate too. Because single is just, kind of a state, like I don't have a boyfriend or I don't have a significant partner, but I'm telling you, I was alone. Now I lived with people, that's not my point, but I was alone. I was single, but I was also celibate. And I didn't so much as have a cup of coffee with a potential love interest. There was no potential love interest. I did nothing but be with Kristen. And that 2 years was the catalyst that took me to an entire different experience of living. An experience that promoted me to start a blog and to write a book and to go on live television and to do all the things that were so scary to me. Okay. Live speaking, you guys have heard me say, this is something I every time I hit live, I'm like, what are you doing, Kristen? This is so not me. But because of my passion, and my want to help other people have these breakthroughs, I push past that fear because there is a way to heal our disempowered patterns. There is a way to stop attracting narcissists and takers. And there is a way to shift our current relationships, because sometimes we're in current relationships, and I don't mean necessarily romantic. It can be romantic, but we're in current relationships with family members and friends and whatever, where we're with takers. But healing our inner world affords us this change, this healing that is undescribable, that is going to have you show up in your life in a way that you didn't even think was possible. And you will have a better experience of those relationships, because guess what, everybody? You're now taking care of you. You're now loving you. Okay. The whole point about us feeling that we have to get love, approval, and acceptance outside of ourselves, what we are trying to do is we're trying to have instant gratification. We're trying to have that quick fix, that magic pill. Okay. So when we're alone and we're starting to feel lonely, what we are unconsciously doing is seeking for that quick fix, that instant gratification. Now, I will say there is a difference between aloneness and loneliness. Okay. There's a complete difference between those two things. Aloneness just means you're by yourself, you're doing things by yourself. You may even enjoy it. I know a lot of people that after they heal themselves, like for me, there's no way in heck that I would have ever gone to a movie by myself or a restaurant by myself or any of those type of things by myself. I would have felt like there's something wrong with me. I'm not one solo person. Now, because I enjoy my own company, because I'm not seeking for love, approval, and acceptance outside of me, because I have stopped judging me. Well, for the most part, I still have my inner critic. I still have my ego that, pops off from time to time. I don't judge the fact when I'm alone. I embrace it. Now, the truth is, in my life, I got a lot of people around me, a lot of people. But that doesn't mean if the time didn't come up for me to go sit in a restaurant by myself or go travel by myself or go to a movie theater by myself, that I wouldn't take it and I would enjoy it, because I'm no longer looking out here to feel safe, because I've got me inside. Okay. So many times we think that the love that we want is outside of ourselves, when really truly the journey is returning to the love inside of you, because we are love. That's just what we are. We are divine sparks of God. We are deity individuated. Okay. We got that love already inside us, but we fractured from that love when we started to grow and our brain waves started to increase and we started to become aware of the outside world. Our ego was then formed, and we started to process outside messages that made us feel like we're not enough, we're too much, we don't matter. There's a thing that I call the I don't matter wound. And I remember that being very prevalent in me, and that's why I named it, because I remember thinking, hey, Julia, Maya illusion. I'm not sure what that means, but you can for sure let me know what you mean by that. This I don't matter one that so many of us are walking around with, because as we're growing up, we're dealing with unhealed people. Oftentimes it's our parents, it's our friends, it's society, it's all of these things. We take in this information, right? And then we're trying to have these relationships with these people. And many times we needed them for something, and they were caught up in their own stuff, or maybe they were just busy because they were parents, whatever it might be. Or it could be a single mom working 3 jobs. It could be whatever it is, single father. But we process that as we don't matter. Okay, that's how the brain, the ego goes, oh, see, you don't matter to that person, because if you mattered to that person, that they would be home for you, or they would be answering the phone call, they'd be doing this. And we take the behavior of other people as an indicator that we don't matter, when really it's not true. Okay. And I can't go into all the details with that, because everybody has so many different lives and so many different experiences. And also, sometimes we didn't matter. We had selfish parents or narcissistic parents or whatever environment that we were raised in, addict parents or abusive parents. Okay. So sometimes those messages came because maybe we really didn't matter to that person. And I am going to say this, I got to disclaim that it's not that we didn't matter, it's that they were not aware enough or healed enough to know how to make us matter. Because guess what? They didn't make themselves matter. I guarantee you, anybody who's walking around with some type of addiction or some type of gnarly behavior or abuse towards you in any form, they are unhealed, period. I was just talking actually texting with a friend of mine this morning who's going through a divorce and dealing with a narcissistic partner, and that narcissistic partner is still getting to that person. And I'm like, you got to remove that button you have that they can touch. And the person said, I don't know how to. I'm really trying to. And I said, here's how. You got to know that person's unhealed. When you know that person is acting from their lower self because they are in deep pain, it takes the personalized part out of it. I don't care if they're saying you. They're also saying you. Okay? It's not just isolated to you because they're healed. That is fracturing out into the world. And I knew this when I went through my divorce with my second husband. I'm like, there's a lot of pain involved here with this person. And the truth was, I couldn't take it personally. The cheating, the alcoholism, the physical abuse, I couldn't even take those things personally because this person was so wounded, right? Which also can help us to forgive that person because we understand that they're wounded and they're doing the very best they can. And that's something that a lot of people don't like. They don't like when I say that because they're like, they can do better. I've had people fight me on this. Oh, man. And I'm like, we all have the capacity and potential to do better. Yet, keep hitting my ring on my desktop here. But we have the capacity and the potential to do better, but we can't do any better than where we're at any given moment. This is why if you are in a state of loneliness, okay, maybe if I move this to the other side, I can see. I'm going to do this, you guys. Oh, I hope the cord's long enough. And hopefully you can hear me just as well. Now I can see the chat. Okay. If you're in a state of loneliness, this is just where you're at right now. It's nothing to beat yourself up about. Okay? It's just, God, I'm lonely right now. What is this trying to teach me? Because every emotion has something to teach us. I talk about this at length in my book. Because the way we're processing the outside environment is going to create an emotion inside of us. Oftentimes that emotion is then going to create the same like thoughts that are going to create more of this emotion, and we end up in this buffer cycle. Boom, loneliness. Okay? So whatever your buffer cycle might be about what you're thinking about being single, being alone, your family is awful. They don't call you, whatever it might be. And you start to think I'm alone. And then you feel really bad about it. And then you think more like thoughts about that in this buffering cycle. Here's what I talk about with the buffering cycle. For some reason, I see it as, have you seen those houses like next to a river and they have that big wheel that turns water, right? It turns the water. I'm not sure what they do. In Arizona, we don't have those. So I don't know what they're doing. I think they might be generating electricity. I don't know. I know windmill. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know any of those things. But I think about taking this massive, life-size, humongous wrench and shoving it in that wheel so that it can't turn. Let's stop the buffering cycle. Stop it. Stop it in its tracks. When we go, man, I am on this swirly twirly journey where I am just constantly thinking these bad thoughts are making me feel worse. I'm thinking more. They're making me feel more. Blah, blah, blah. At some point, we got to go bam. And we got to shove that wrench in. We got to stop the pattern. We got to interrupt the pattern. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because I'm getting lots of action over here. Okay, yes, that's right. Then I have Julia. Kristen, I hear you about sourcing our own self-love, but sometimes I just want that male companionship. This is, yes. And validation that I simply can't give to myself. that is, I'm going to respond to that right now. I was going to come up with that, but I'm going to respond to that right now. There's a difference between wanting companionship, having that be our desire. Because when I was speaking earlier about the College of Kristen, where I vowed to remain single and celibate, my desire for a romantic relationship was still there. I knew at some point I was going to have another romantic relationship. And by the grace of God, this was going to be what I call my lifer. Okay. But at that time, I knew that I needed the single time to really do the work to interrupt that pattern of attracting narcissists and takers. I knew I needed it. Intuitively, I knew I needed it. Okay. And because people aren't perfect, I knew that going into another relationship, that I was going to need to be a better empowered version of myself, really firmly rooted and grounded in myself, so that I could show up in a way to that person if or when they were doing something that was not cool with me, that I could show up in a way that I had not shown up in my last relationships. Okay. So Julie, I hope this answers your question when you say, I want that male companionship. The desire to have it is different than a neediness for it. Okay. That neediness for it is only healed through self-love. And I don't mean a little bit kind of dabbling, sorta. And it doesn't mean wine and bathtubs. Okay. That's self-care, which is one of the 5 tenets of self-love. But that is self-care. But if we have at all a needy feeling or a desperation, we got to get radically honest with ourselves. I had it so many times in my life. I had this desperate need to go find somebody, right? Desperate. And it didn't look like that, by the way. It didn't look like that. It was just this little boop, 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 boop back here. But that little boop, boop drove my behaviors. Well, I gotta, keep my body nice. I gotta dress a certain way. I gotta make sure that I redo my hair before I go out. I got whatever, all the things. I gotta look, smile a lot. I don't know, put on my masks. I gotta do all of these things because my neediness was driving it. Let me tell you real quick what happened when I met current husband. Okay. Current husband was a person I knew briefly in high school. Friended me on Facebook. Okay. Remember, I'm not dating. I'm not on any sort of chat match.com. And this is where law of attraction comes into, you guys. So if you guys don't mind, I do want to take a segue over here because I really want to spend some time on Julia's question. Okay. But during that time, I was healing myself. And I got into a place, you guys, where I was good being alone. Like I said, it wasn't like I was like, yeah, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Screw everybody, screw men. No. This was like, I was just enjoying my life. Okay. Because if I would have been that's my ego fighting. Okay. That's my ego. It wasn't that. It was, this is so nice. And one day a message popped up on my iPad when my iPad was still working. It's like 85 years old now. I think I need a new one. A message popped up on my iPad. Actually, I went inside. I was with a friend. We went inside and I grabbed it to show her a picture that was on my, someone that I thought she knew on my Facebook. And I was like, oh no, I know, who this person is. Let me show you a picture. And I had to drink water. That's when he popped up. Hold on. He's friending you. And I was like, and I remember thinking, him? Heck yeah. Because I remember he was such a lovely person in high school. Didn't talk much. We just kind of knew each other briefly. Then that was it. My days went on. Next thing you know, he messages me one day on Facebook, the back channel. I remember I was getting my hair done and I was like, oh, this is nice. And we're chatting via Facebook, back channel. And that was it. And I moved on a little bit more. And then there was a little bit of space of time. And then this other guy came in briefly for about 5 weeks, that guy. And then a little bit more space of time. And at some point he's messaged me again. And by this point, it was texting. And I remember I was washing my car and looked like the Saturday shit, you know what I mean? Like you're no makeup, you're just greasy and stinky and all those things. And he's like, hey, I'm driving by, I'll stop by. I was like, no. Do you see how there's no desperation, no neediness? It's like, no. Old Kristen, previous to my College of Kristen, oh my God, that would be great. Well, let me, like I would have had to seize that moment. Then he said, well, I'm going to go here with my friends and so on, so my brother, if you want to join us later. And I said, okay, what time? This time I'm like, yeah, that's too early. I can't do that. But maybe around this time, if you're still there. He was like, okay. And the night came and I took my shower, got dressed, showed up at this place. All right. He tried to kiss me that night. Nope, turned my head. Do you see what not neediness and desperation looks like? These behaviors blew my mind. Because old Kristen, previous Kristen, would have been sucking that up. Oh my God, yay. Okay. Then there was another little space of time that happened. And then he was like, can I come over and hang out with you? And I was like, sure. And he came over. And I was in my daughter's flannel pajama bottoms. I just worked all day during hair. My hair was in a ponytail because I get home, the bra comes off, the hair goes up, makeup's like a little smeared under my eyes, and I brushed my teeth. That's all I did. That's all I did for him to come over. Old Kristen, previous Kristen, I got to get dressed. I got to smell good. I got to look good. I got to do all, nope. I got to make sure my butt looks good in my pants. If you guys know what I mean. Nope. And this man kept coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back. So Julie, I hope this sheds some light. I'm not sure where you're at on that. But what I'm telling you is that if there's any niggle of desperation, then we can make bad choices. Okay? What I was doing was laying the framework and the foundation in this relationship from go. Okay? And there's all kinds of stories I tell about him and us, and I have his permission to tell those stories. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now since we're on this. The first, I was going to go over to, he invited me over to his house. By the way, you guys, this is turning into a different talk, but I'm going to just say this because Julia asked. Both of us had gone through tsunamis. I was a roommate in somebody else's house and he was a roommate in somebody else's house. Okay. Based on our respective breakups. So we're like these two 42-year-olds, like floundering in life at this moment. So a lot of times people are like, oh, well, he's living in a roommate in someone's house. And, they want to pick on the particulars of where a person's at in life, whether or not they want to date them. What you're looking for, my friends, is character. You're looking for character. He was handed his ass in a relationship. And this poor man ended up in a roommate in somebody else's house, just like me. Okay. He had owned his own home. I mean, there's all kinds of things. All right. But this is where he was at. And we started off as a friendship. And my family was like, you guys are not friends. I'm like, because it was so cohesive, but I'm like, we have not kissed. We have nothing. They're like, no. And I'm like, I'm not lying. Because they started seeing us together. But one day he said, you want to come over and watch a movie? And I said, sure. And I said this on the phone out loud. I said, but watch a movie doesn't mean we're having sex. Oh, okay, yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. That's not what this means. Do you see me showing up as my authentic self? That's exactly what I did. So I go over there. We're 5 minutes into the movie and bro's on me. Oh, you're so nice. And I was like, hey. For a second, I kind of made out with him just because this wasn't our first kiss, by the way. And just, I just kind of wanted to see what he would do. And then I was like, okay, enough. I'm like, not doing this. So we sit down to watch the movie again. 2 minutes in, he's doing the same thing. Now, this is my husband, you guys. This is my current husband. And I go, oh, excuse me. And I got up, didn't say a word. I just said, excuse me, very kindly. And I got up and I went over and I grabbed my purse, took my keys out, and I marched my little happy self to the front door and I opened it and I shut it behind me. And I went and got in my mom van and drove myself home without a word. This is who I'm married to. This is what self-love will do for you. And I tell that story because it's a very powerful story. Because what I've done in the past, oh, okay, you know, you got to have sex with the guy or else he's going to find someone else to have sex with, or, all the stories. I'm not going to get into all those details right now. I'll make another live about this stuff. But he called me. What are you doing? And I said, well, I told you that I wasn't going to do this and so that and so this. And he goes, I'm really sorry. I said, okay, no harm, no foul, just going home. That was it. This is what self-love can do. So this is why I say if there's any niggle of neediness or desperation or anything at all that's needing that validation from a source outside of you, you likely are going to show up in a way that is not honoring and respecting you to the best of your ability. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope that answers your question, Julia. It's an excellent, excellent question. It is so relevant. All right. So let me see. Or love, but I want to have male companion validation. I can't give myself. Okay. You can give it to yourself. 100%. Here's what happened when I started loving myself, respecting myself, treating myself kindly, honoring myself. Guess what happened? I stopped needing outside compliments. Needing. Do I still enjoy them? Hell yes, I do. Do I still appreciate them? Hell yes, I do. But I don't need them because I got me. Do you see what I'm saying? Because anytime we start to rely on somebody else to be our source, we are now indebted to them. They now have, believe it or not, you guys, a type of power over us because we're going to be afraid of not getting that source. So we're going to dim our light. We're going to keep our mouths shut. We're not going to set boundaries. We're going to do stuff in order for us to get that. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Andrea said, thank God for COVID. I learned how to be alone and love myself. A girlfriend, that whole lockdown thing was so serving to so many people. It forced so many people to go inside and to really enjoy. You know what it did for me? Because I already am in that space of self-love and whatever. But I was still very out there. I had to go out there. I was like, I have to go. I have to do things. And what it did was really help me make my world smaller. Like, it's okay if I'm doing a puzzle rather than going to a movie, those type of things. So yes, Andrea, that's awesome. Julia, by the way, I've been doing my own thing for years now and on a personal development journey, but would like to find my person. And if not, oh well. Okay, two things there. Yes, you should find your person. You want your person. That is your desire. And your person is in escrow for you. Your person is there. I'm telling you right now, your person, your ideal partner is there waiting for you to. Okay. This is the law of attraction stuff. And this is what I'm all about. Okay. But I like to call it the law of divine alignment for a reason. What I say, when you align to the receiving of that, where you know that this person is going to be a bonus in your life and you start to imagine and feel this person already in your life and you act as if they're already here and what it feels like. And stay away from the cursed hows, like I have to be on Match.com or I have to do this or I have to go to this particular bar or I have to. You stay away from the have tos and you only follow inspiration. Like, I feel really inspired to go dancing tonight. Or I feel really inspired to go to the library today. Or, some cute guy is walking through the grocery store and you're like, I'm inspired to start a conversation. Oh my God, but I'm afraid, right? The fear comes in. If you've been inspired, you're like, hey, I should talk to that guy. Talk to the guy. Do you see what I'm saying? Here's the thing. Our person is going to come to us from any means. It doesn't have to be from Match.com or sitting in a bar like we traditionally think it is. They can come freaking anywhere. All right. It's fascinating to me how I met the people in my life, right? It just blows my mind because you can meet people through any means. So Julia, your person is there. He's looking for you, by the way. He's looking for you, girl. He knows you're out there and he can't wait to have you. But for whatever happening, here's another caveat. When we're healing ourselves, okay, we are getting ourselves to a new vibration, and we are going to attract in from that new vibration. All right. Your person may not be quite there yet, or you may not be quite there yet to the exact level that you need to be. This is where faith, unwavering faith in the divine comes in, where you're like, I know my person's there. And then I also want to say this piece, that what I did, even during my College of Kristen, when I was going through that 2 years, you know what I was doing? I was driving to the super Walmart in my mom van, imagining bro next to me. I imagined what it felt like to be in the car with him. I imagined what it felt like to drive or to shop with him. I imagined how just all the things that it was me and him together. Guess what it feels like in a grocery store with bro, with my husband? That. It feels exactly like that. So I don't want to make this law of attraction thing, but I want you to start to really feel him in your life. Make space for him. Now they say like clean out some of your closet and do those type of things. Yes, do those things, but don't do those things. Oh, no, scratch that. But do those things with the feeling as if he's already here. Okay. Not, I'm going to do this and have no emotion. The way we manifest, you see how loud I'm getting, you guys? I get amped up about the law of attraction. The way we manifest is by visualing, acting as if, but having the elevated emotion with it. Lower emotions do not manifest. Let me see if I have my scale. I have an emotional guidance scale, which is from Abraham Hicks. Okay. When you're in the higher emotions, optimism, I don't know. It's over there on my coaching table, but let me see if I got one over here real quick, you guys. I don't think I do. But what you can look it up. 22. It's a list of 22 emotions. I'm going to shut my thing and turn it back up on again because I moved and that changes my the focus. So hold on. I'm going to do this real quick and hopefully my focus will come back. Ooh, not really. Okay. Maybe I need to do it with like something long. Let me try this, you guys. Sorry, this is just technical difficulties. Okay, maybe it'll pick me up again at some point. Sorry, I'm fuzzy now. Okay, but you have to act as if you already have that thing and attach an elevated emotion to it, which is gratitude, appreciation, love, optimism. You know it's coming, hopefulness. Whatever emotion that you can muster, that's what you have to attach to that. Okay? All right. I've been doing my own thing. Okay, yeah. Yep. Now, the part where you said, if not, oh, well. God, I really hate that I'm fuzzy, you guys. I don't know how to turn off the camera on. Oh, you don't have access to this feature. All right. Yeah. Usually when I'm on a Zoom call, I could just click the camera off for a minute. And then when it pops back on again, I'll be focused, but it's not doing that right now for some reason because I moved. Sorry, you guys. Okay. So, now I forgot what I was saying about that. Oh, the fact that you said, if not, oh, well. And I hope you feel like this. If it's, oh, well, like, darn it, then that's not the right, oh, well. But if it's, oh, well, like surrender, I'm going to be happy anyway. God, source, universe, I want this. This is what I want to experience. But I'm going to be happy anyway. That's when your stuff manifests. Okay. And if things are not manifesting right away, that means we haven't quite reached that place. But I will tell you this based on experience. The second I let go of something, like let it go, boom, it pops right in every time. Okay. All right. Matthew Paul, I feel very alone at the moment. My social circle is me and me alone. My dating life is zero, and online dating is soul destroying. I hear that. I hear that from so many people. I feel like my desperation to find someone keeps me further from it. Matthew, you're right. The desperation will keep you further from it. So I'm not sure when you joined this live stream, but if I would invite you, if you're still here, I don't know who's in the room. Let me see, since I'm live, maybe I can click on and see actually who's in here. Nope, doesn't allow me to. If you're still in this room, I would invite you to go back to the beginning of this broadcast and listen to the things that I'm talking about, because this was me. This was me, brother. I know this feeling. I know exactly where you're at. And the thing is that when you're out there and you're really trying to make it happen. Okay, hi. You guys, I got to try this again. Hold on. I got to try this again because I can't stand that it's not. I'm still here if you can hear me, but I'm going to try to. This is terrible. Let me try this. Okay. Hopefully it'll get me focused. I'm using my scissors. Am I focused? All right. My friend Daryl's in the room. Daryl, I moved and my camera is not focused now. So let me see if I go like and come back real fast. It worked. Okay. Happy dance. All right. Okay. Julia said, yes, thank you. And she also relates to, yes, I was definitely super needy. God, I love your ownership. You guys, both Julia, Matthew, right now, you guys' ownership and that self-awareness, let me tell you something, is key, is key, is key. This self-awareness is how you shift. The fact that you're like, yeah, totally needy, or yeah, I'm this, or yeah, I'm lonely, or yeah, I'm feeling this. You guys, you have to know that anytime that you are recognizing something about yourself, that you are changing trajectory, period. Because we're on this trajectory, do. We stay on this trajectory until we have awareness, then we go boop. And then we're going down this other trajectory, but now we have the new awareness. That's why we pivoted. And now we're on this. And when we have another awareness, we pivot again, and we pivot again, and we pivot again. So the fact that you guys are owning your stuff and you're saying, oh, yeah, that was me, and you're being so honest and open. I mean, it makes, honestly, my eyes are tearing up. That's how important, like literally, I could cry right now because it's so important to have that awareness. And I just rock star status. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's rock star status. And this tells me that you are on path and you are going to have your dreams. You are. You can't not. Okay. What do you think my whole, content creating, coaching thing looked like? Awareness, 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 awareness. I had a lot of fears about public speaking. A lot of fears I remember writing a blog and hovering over the publish button, scared to death, and publish, right? But then as time went on, because I kept allowing myself to heal and grow, I got to where I was like, publish, published, and people are inviting me to write on their blogs all over the place. I wish I had all those. Those got lost in a website shift anyway. So I don't want to go off track because I can do that very easily. So I just want to say to you guys that Julia says, I relate to Matthew. I gave up on online dating. I think it has unfortunately destroyed the dating landscape and romance, but don't give up. It's definitely has its share of problems. And I'm going to tell you this, you guys, that I know people that have met their soulmates on online dating. It's not online dating that's the problem. It's the energy that we're going into it. Okay, if you're going into the online dating within a certain degree of I have to, or this is my way, that's not the right energy. You may as well just unsubscribe. Turn off your prescription. It's not going to work. Subscription. It's not going to work. Okay. It is all about what I expressed earlier, is having the desire that you want, acting as if you have it, feeling it already in your life, that it's already here, and attaching an elevated emotion, being grateful for it. That is literally the key to manifesting. Okay. Where we get stuck is that we tend to keep believing our mind, but they're not here yet. But maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I need to lose weight first, or maybe I need to make more money, or I have to have a better car. All of those material things do not matter. Hear me now, hear me hard. They do not matter. You do not have to change yourself materially in form to attract your person. Okay. So your person is going to join you when you become a vibrational match to receiving that person. That's where the work is. And if you guys want to do another live on that, just let me know and we can really dig into that a little bit more. Okay. So, Julia said, yes. Thank you, Kristen. Daryl said, my buddy Daryl said, inspiration is the boss. Matthew said, I'm here. And Daryl said, you have to go inward to become in focus. Oh, you were just telling me about exactly what I did. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So I'm going to continue forward with this. And I want to talk about how we can shift when we are in a state. Yes, please do the vibrational match video. Okay. Um, how we can shift from a state of loneliness, because it's a very heavy state. It's dense. It's pulling us down. It's making us feel like there's no hope. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, the focus is on the negative, not on the positive. We're telling ourselves stories about our aloneness, what that means for now and what that means for the future. We got a lot wrapped up into this, and I will tell you guys, it's all rooted in fear. A loneliness, the perception of loneliness is rooted in fear. Okay? I'm lonely. I need a partner. I need this. I need this. Okay? No, you don't need any of those things. You need to give it to you. When you give it to you, a partner becomes a bonus in your life, not your source. And the reason why we want this to happen is because if somebody is our source, like I said earlier, we're going to show up in a way in that relationship that's going to have expectations and requirements, which means we're going to make them responsible for the way we feel. Okay? It's our job to make us responsible for the way we feel. All right? When I love and accept me, I have no pressure on my husband. Okay? I'm not over there going, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm great, tell me I'm, those type of things as far as the relationship goes. Now, there's times in life that I'm having like a low moment or something where I'm like, I need a little encouragement right now or something like that. That's a little different. I also want to throw this in that if you're someone that spends a lot of time alone, life is fine, but you're spending a lot of time alone and you're feeling lonely, that's a different thing. A lot of people work from home and they're like, God, I need some people. I need some people. Okay. There's a difference between loneliness, sad, no one loves me, I don't matter, no one cares. That's a different energy than if I have to smell my own fart again, I'm going to go crazy. You see what I'm saying? you want to get out into the world. You want to see other people. You want to interact with people. All right. There's a lot of different energy between those two things. But I wanted to throw that in there just so that you guys can discern the difference. So I want to talk about the ways right now that I wrote this down here. I said that we are a pack species. We are a community species. So to spend extended time alone, that can be very difficult on us. That's why in prison, solitary confinement is the punishment, because it's very hard to be alone for extended periods of time. But that doesn't mean those prisoners are looking to other people for outside validation, right? It just means we do well sharing other people's energies and commingling with people. We are a pack species. That's how we roll. So yes, if you're spending a lot of time alone and you're like, I'm kind of feeling lonely, you might be using that word. Really, it might just mean that you need to go get yourself inspired with some energy of other people. Okay. All right. So here's the things that we can do to shift out of feelings of loneliness. Now, I did not research these. Okay. I did not get on the internet before I got on here and go, what are other people saying? I said, what works? I made this list. Actually, this list happened yesterday. I typed it into my phone and then I printed it out. All right. And then I looked this morning, I was looking on something and I was like, a lot of people are saying the same thing. Okay. So I think I might bring a little deeper nuance to it because I talk about the self-love piece where other people are saying some of these things that I'm saying, which are helpful, but there is that deeper nuance that when we are alone, in aloneness, meaning maybe between relationships, we're feeling lonely, we're in that space. Allow your alone time to be your recreation time. Okay. I write this as a whole. It's actually, here's my first book. My other one is downstairs, but here's my first book, you guys. And I actually have a subchapter in this book that says aloneness is recreation time. And I go into it at length about what it means, what we can do with this aloneness. Okay. And part of what we can work on is really becoming happy and peaceful in our own company, right? When we're happy in our own company, like I said, other people become a bonus. They do not become our source. Because if we're looking at them to become our source, we got the wrong motive involved. And also, those people, believe it or not, they know we have this expectation of them. And that's energy that they don't like, because we're infringing upon their free will. We're infringing upon their personal freedom by saying, oh, yeah, you can be your own self. And you got to check these boxes for me. That doesn't feel good. I've been in those relationships where someone needed me to check their boxes. I'm like, I am not your source. I'm your partner. And I'm very loving. I'm very affectionate. I'm all of those things that we like to have. I am those things. And still, it wasn't enough because this person had a low sense of self. So they were relying on me for their source. So anytime that we're going into a relationship, and it could be subtle, you guys, we don't know this is happening. I didn't know it was happening. Back in the day, I did not know that I was looking at people for my source. But then those people say stuff to you like you're insecure, you're this, you're that, you're like, I'm not insecure. You're just not giving me the love I need. I'm not needy. I'm not. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I was. I wasn't off the charts needy because, there's a spectrum there. I wasn't like stage 5 clinger, stalking person. No. But there was that piece of me that was expecting, if, I remember with my first husband, like working out, trying to have the perfect body so that he would tell me I was pretty, and he never did. He never complimented my body. So here I am working myself into a frenzy, trying to get him to compliment me about my body, because it was never good enough, because he was a perfectionist and all these other things, right? Where somebody else might have looked at me in all of my authentic normalcy and been like, you're so beautiful, just the way you are. See what I'm saying? I'd made him my source. Not anymore. Okay. The second thing that we can do if we're feeling extended periods of loneliness, and I did this, and I didn't know what I was doing when I did this, is that we can become of service to somebody else. Okay, when I first was going through my tsunami, and it was terrible and it was awful, and we were still in the big house, and all of those things were happening, I marched my happy ass to Unity Church. Okay, Unity Church is all things that I believe in. Okay, it's a church, but it's really just a community, right? They're open to everything, and they talk about Buddha, they talk about Jesus, they talk about everything. Okay, energy, they talk about everything. But anyway, I would march myself there, and I'd cry. I would cry through the talks. I'd just sit there bawling my head off because I was such in a bad place. And I tell you guys this because this is the realness of it. Okay. I'm sitting there by myself in a Unity Church, sobbing like a baby who had my lollipop taken away. And I didn't care because I knew this was energy needed to come out of me. But then I would leave. And there would be these stands, these little, tables set up where you could sign up for some type of volunteer work. And guess what I did? I signed myself up. I did food for the hungry. I don't remember the things I did. And I had the kids come with me too. Oh, Matthew. You're making me tear up, Matthew. Matthew just said, thank you so much for these wise words. I know I'll be rewatching over and over, but I have to shoot off. Thank you. The UK loves you. Bye, Matthew. Thank you. And that made me tear up because this is why I do what I do. It's really the only reason I do what I do is to help you guys. And before I get on, what my prayer is to God, help me speak from my heart. That's my prayer. God, just have me speak from my heart. Whether I fumble over my words, whether I need to take a drink of water in between, my hair gets flat while I'm talking because this is bedhead, whatever, I don't care. Just let me speak from my heart because I want to reach people. I want you guys to know that you're not alone. I almost threw an F-bomb in there. You're not alone. Okay? I've been here. So I'm sobbing my head off at Unity. I go outside and I sign up for service. And my God, you guys, wow. When we are in service to somebody else, it lifts us and elevates us in a way that's undescribable. Because first of all, I got super focused on who I was helping. Every little bag of food that I packed, I knew was I think it was called feed our starving children, or feed my hungry children. I can't remember the name of it, but it's actually this whole system thing. And I won't get into the details, but you're putting stuff in baggies and things. Hold on. Okay. And hold on, I'm gonna clear my throat real quick. Okay. Okay. So I just thought of those kids and my heart was so full of love. How can I be lonely? I couldn't be. Mind you, I was feeling lonely living in a house with 2 kids and 3 kids. I'm thinking of the first time it was 2 kids before I had my third. Okay. And how could I be lonely? I'm so full of love at that moment. And I'm looking at all these other people smiling. They're feeling the same thing. We're all in this room vibing high, loving life because we're helping somebody else. Go be of service. I don't care if you go to your neighbor's front yard and spray their weeds for them, which my husband does to my next door neighbor. He was an elderly gentleman, and every time he did our yard, he'd just go over and he'd squirt his weeds too, right? And now we have another neighbor. That guy moved, and it's a new guy, and he'd go over and squirt his weeds now too. I don't care if you go scoop poop at the next door neighbor's house. I don't care if you walk around your neighborhood picking up trash. Be of service. Service will elevate you in a way that is undescribable. You're going to walk home, you're going to be like, yeah, you're going to feeling good. It's hard to feel lonely when you're of service. The other thing I said here, and I wrote it down like this, which is very strange. I wrote, go out and serve your smiles. Wherever you're at, smile. And smile from your heart. Smile that God love that's inside of you at somebody. Beam them. Beam them with your smile. Smile at, say, I don't care who smiles back at me, I'm going to smile at everybody. Do you know there's a thing that actually smiling lifts things in our chemical system? I'm not sure if it's endorphins because I don't know exactly, but it lifts stuff for us. Go smile at people. Serve your smiles up. Go talk to someone in the grocery store. The guy that's doing the fruit, say, you're doing a really great job today. Do you know today I was at the gym? I got served a smile today. I got served more than a smile today. I was doing my little workout. It's this 15-minute really hard workout. Like the part, it's only 15 minutes, but the whole point of it is for people my age because it jump starts things in your metabolism. And it's designed so you stop. It's actually designed as like, if you're not resting, you're not doing this right. Like, so you do it until you have to stop. And all the girls in the video are much younger and super fit and they're stopping. Okay. It's designed that way. So I'm doing it and I'm making a mess of myself on this thing at the gym. And there's a man with one arm. His arm was to here on one side, like missing from here down on one side. He was over here and I just happened to look at him and he smiled at me and I smiled back. And then I keep doing my things and I'm done and I'm stretching. I'm doing all my stretches. And he walks over to me and I had my earbuds on, but I was holding my phone because I was changing songs. And I paused it and I said, yes. And he goes, I just wanted to tell you that you're killing it today. Thank you. Some rando stranger came up and told me that I was killing it. I didn't just go, oh yeah, thanks, bye. And he started to walk, like he didn't even let me respond. I just said, thank you. And he just walked away. But here's what I did, you guys. I sat there in my stretches and I said, one of my brother mates here on earth came over to tell me that I'm killing it today. I am going to marinate in this. I've never seen that guy at the gym. I'll probably never see him again. But I'm going to marinate this. Someone thinks I'm killing it. Someone came over and told me I'm killing it. I let myself soak in, even though I felt, I was like not my strongest today. This is allergy season here, you guys, and it crushes me. We sleep with the windows open. I told my husband last night, windows got to be closed. I mean, my eyes are like burning and scratching every day. You hear me coughing and anyway, and it makes me very, very tired. It's my first symptom when I know allergy season is kicked in is I get really tired. And I'm like, yep, allergies. So anyway, taking my medication, but the energy is not that great at the gym, even though I slept amazing last night. So, like I said, I probably looked like some floundering weenie at the gym, and this guy came over and told me I was crushing it, but I marinated on it. So another way to not feel lonely is that don't take for granted what's in your life. You've got some amazing people in your life. Take stock of them. Take inventory. You got a mom that loves you? Don't say, well, that's just my mom. You lucky son of a gun that you got a mom that loves you, right? We're lucky. We're fortunate in so many ways, but we take all that for granted because we're looking for that one person, that one thing, that one thing that's going to make us feel not lonely. We don't have to feel lonely, you guys. It is actually a choice. And that's a thing that kind of ruffles people's feathers when I say things like that, or it can be, not seekers. I was just actually talking to my friend Daryl yesterday, Daryl, who's in the feed here, that I don't know if he's still on or not. Daryl, you still here? Give me a little emoji if you are. But we were talking about that yesterday, that exact thing yesterday. But my point is that you can, or that thing yesterday, that seekers, you can't really ruffle a seeker's feathers. Whose feathers you ruffle are the people who don't really want to know. They're stuck in their victimhood. They're stuck in their story. They're not going to be on a live stream. They're not going to be here with me listening to this. I'm not ruffling your feathers, right? Because you're a seeker. And there's this piece inside of you that's going, that makes sense. And sometimes we're in our pity party, and that's okay. And sometimes things aren't great, and that's okay. All that's okay. But you're here. Whether you're listening to it now or you're listening to it on the replay, you are here. And I'm proud of you for being here. The next thing is pamper yourself. Spoil yourself, okay? We hear in many circles people should date themselves and do these type of things. Yes. But this is part of self-care. Okay, so the 5 tenets of self-love, all right? 5 tenets of self-love: grace and forgiveness of self, respect and protection of self, acceptance and compassion of self, loving and supportive self-talk, and self-care. 5 tenets of self-love, okay? One of them is self-care. That means you're loving yourself. Pamper yourself. I don't care what it is. Go take care of yourself. Do something that you have been wanting to do for you, but that you haven't done. Don't sit at home ruminating on your sorrow. Don't sit at home stoking the fires of your loneliness. Woe is me. My life sucks. Okay? I have felt lonely many, many times throughout my life. And actually, when I told my husband I was going to have, last night I told him that I was going to have this live today, and I was going to have this conversation today. I said, I remember feeling lonely as a little kid, going, there's no one around to play with. And I want to play with somebody, right? And it wasn't to fill a void. It was just I wanted to play with somebody. So what I did is I remember I'd go into my room and I'd write poems, and I would journal, and I would clean my room, and I would reorganize, and I would get so present that I actually enjoyed that as equally as if I had gone and played with my friends. So there's this whole thing about the present moment, the generous present moment, that we can break free of pain, of sadness, of sorrow by just getting really super present in the moment and putting ourselves first. This is your opportunity to practice putting yourself first. So I speak a lot about recovering people pleasing. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I just wrote a book called The Recovering People Pleaser that is going to be released in April 11th, this next month, 2023, on Amazon and all other major book selling sites. It'll be in Kindle version and it will be in the paperback version. Okay. And many times we don't know how to put ourselves first because we're so busy attending to the needs of everybody else. And the truth be known, it's in hope of getting ourselves full. It's in hope of receiving that love, approval, and acceptance that is empty inside of us, our empty worthiness cup. Okay. So this time alone that you're feeling, this loneliness, what if it's a present? They say the presence is your present, right? Or the present is the presence. It is. It's a gift. It's a gift. So you start to give to yourself in this pure, generous present moment. What you're doing is you're retraining your brain for you to matter. Yeah. This is the stuff that after the fact, after I went through my College of Kristen, and by the way, you guys, College of Kristen was a concentrated time, a very concentrated time of personal growth and study and healing. Doesn't mean that I've stopped. Okay. I've just moved forward to the next level. Okay. So this is the College of Christians. Maybe I got my undergrad. And the next level was the master's. And then the next level was the PhD, or maybe I got a double master's, or you know what I mean? Like I've just been building on the College of Kristen. I haven't stopped healing. This is why I didn't name my book Recovered People Pleaser. I named it The Recovering because I feel like we are constantly evolving and growing and moving closer and closer and closer back to our authentic center, our divine spark of love that we are undeniably, that we came here with. We fractured away from that, and the journey is going back to it. And sometimes we go back to it and then we come back. And then sometimes we go to it and then we come back. But each time, do you see the space between going to it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as we start to heal? Okay. All right. The next one is do that thing that you've been wanting to do for a really long time that you haven't given yourself permission to do. Is it a trip? Is it that I want to start working out? Is it that you want to take up tennis again? What is it? What is that thing that you've been wanting to do for a very long time? Learn pottery, start yoga, take ballroom dance. Okay? Guess what happens? You're feeling you. You're feeling you because you are acting from your creative inspiration. These are the stuff that make you come alive. These are the things that make you come alive. There are the things that you're like, you know, gosh, I've really wanted to do that because there's something inside of you that's a part of you. So when you start to go do those things, you are actually giving to yourself. And you're going to notice that that loneliness is going to dissipate. Not only that, you're going to meet new people, whatever it may be. And even if it's an online community, okay? There's so many online communities, you guys. And chances are I'm going to start an online community. That'll be a subscription. It won't be much, but we will get together on a weekly basis and we're going to talk about these things at length. All the things that I teach, all the things that are in my book, The Recovering People Pleaser, including the law of attraction, because I have that in there. I talk about energy a lot. Okay. So we're going to get together. We're going to talk about these things. And when we are in community, again, if we're still feeling lonely in community, lonely in a crowded room, that means that's an indicator that you are looking outside yourself for that love, approval, and acceptance. So if you've got people in your life and you're still feeling lonely, that's an indicator that you need to heal your inner world. It's not bad. It's nothing to judge because it is the plague on the planet. This is what we're here to do. So you're not alone. All right, what else do I got here for you? Practice gratitude for the moment. Like I was talking about earlier when we were talking about calling in, attracting in your lifer, your love partner, whatever it might be. Gratitude is, you guys, hands down, the highest vibrational frequency is gratitude and appreciation. And love. Love is too, if you conjure up feelings of love. You cannot suffer when you're in gratitude. It is impossible to suffer when you are in gratitude. I have a practice, and when I get away from this practice, I start to suffer because my little brain takes over and starts to think of things that I should be doing or whatever. The practice is before I fall asleep every night, I go through a gratitude list, and it's not a specific list. It changes every time. Sometimes I'm grateful for this community, or I'm grateful for my friend Daryl, or I'm grateful for my body, that I'm healthy. I'm grateful that I can walk. I broke my femur like around 35 years old. Okay, I have a titanium rod in my left leg. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my teeth. You know, I'll just go down this gratitude list. It doesn't matter what you're grateful for. It's just that you conjure up that feeling of gratitude. When you live in a state of gratitude, you can't be lonely. It is the highest vibrational frequency that any of us can be in at any given time. Okay. So that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. I hope that you've enjoyed this live stream. This has been an amazing conversation. I appreciate all of you who have entered into this live stream and who are going to watch it on the replay. I am speaking to you from my heart. I appreciate you being here. I love sharing with you. I love this community. I love your comments. I'm looking at your comments. That's why I keep looking over here. I appreciate your comments, and I love that you joined me today or in the replay. So if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe and to turn on notifications. I do a lot of these inspirational talks on various topics. I also have a playlist that's called Dear KB. What that means, if you ask me a specific question regarding one of my specific topics in a video, then I will answer your question specifically via video form. Okay, and it'll be under my Dear KB playlist. So you want to subscribe, so when that happens, that you will be notified when that is uploaded. Also, I super appreciate if you guys comment below. That helps the algorithms, and give me a thumbs up on this video because that helps me grow my channel. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. So much love to each and every one of you. And next live stream, I'm going to be sure to have my book so I can show you, because I'm so happy. And everybody the truth is, everybody I show that book to, they hold it and they pet it and they put it to their cheek. It's so fascinating to watch. It's got really, really good energy in it. So, okay, you guys, thank you for being here, and I will talk to you next time. Mwah. Much love. Now I got to figure out how to, end stream. Okay, bye guys.